For this lesson, we are going to be solving equation word problems, and all of them will be talking about consecutive integers. So remember, when we have integers, we're talking about it's 0, 1, 2, 3. I mean, it could even be in the negative area. When we talk consecutive, we're talking about the fact that from 1 to 2, it is increasing by 1. Okay, just some little thoughts to keep in your mind as we're trying to solve these problems. So for each problem, we're going to define the variable, we're going to write an equation, we'll solve the equation, and then we're going to answer the question. So let's start over here with number 1. It says find 3 consecutive integers. So we're looking for 3 numbers whose sum, important, is 87. 3 consecutive integers whose sum is 87. So when I'm looking at that, I know that I have to define my variable. Well, I'm going to say x is equal to my first integer. X plus 1, remember, since it's right next door to each other, is going to be equal to my second. And when I put those two little marks, that means integer. And my third integer is going to be x plus 2. So there I have defining my variable. Now I'm going to write my equation. So I know that it's x plus 1 plus, and this one was your second integer, x plus 2 is equal to our total of 87. We know we need to put together our like terms, so we end up with 3x plus 3 is equal to 87. With solving your equations, you know you always add or subtract that number first, so we're subtracting the 3, and we get 3x equals 84. All right, that is a multiplication problem. So we know we're going to go ahead and we're going to divide by 3, and x is equal to 28. All right, so this actually is our first integer. So when we're looking for all 3 of them, my first integer is a 28, x plus 1 is 29, and x plus 2, I'm just going up one more, is 30. This is the answer. Here are my 3 integers for this problem. All right, well, you know I always like to add a little bit more difficult step, just something to think about. So for question number 2, we're going to find this time, let's read the whole problem. We're going to find 2 consecutive odd integers whose sum is 64. Okay, well, first we're finding 2 consecutive, but notice, odd integers. And their sum, again, is going to be 64. So for my first integer, it's going to be x, is my first integer. Well, let's look at if our first integer is 1, and that's odd, and we want to go to our next odd, notice we need to add 2 to it. So our second integer is going to be x plus 2. There's our second. All right, so now we're just going to write our equation. So it's x plus 2 is equal to, we have our 64. And we get 2x, put our like terms together, plus 2 is equal to 64. You know, you always add or subtract first, so we're going to subtract 2. So 2x is equal to 62, and I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So I know that x is equal to a 31. Well, that's my first integer. Well, if my first odd integer is 31, I know my first one is 31 and I have to add 2. So my next odd integer is 33. So those are the two integers that would satisfy what we needed to find. All right, for the last one, we are going to find two consecutive integers such that 3 times the first integer plus 2 times the second integer is equal to 107. We got to mark the text now. So first, we know that they're going to be consecutive integers. That means they're going to be next door to each other. Now, our first integer, it says such that 3 times the first integer, notice, and then it says plus 2 times the second integer is equal to 107. So our first thing that we're going to need to do, it says the first integer, you have to multiply it by 3. So 3x is equal to our first integer. And when we're writing our second integer, notice it says 2 times the second one. Well, remember, the second integer, you have to add 1 to increase, but now we're going to multiply that by 2. Just like our first integer here is 1, our second integer is 2. We had to do that x plus 1, and then they're telling us that it's 2 times that. So this is our second integer. A little bit tricky, isn't it? All right, well now guess what? It says plus, so we're going to add them. 3x plus 2 times the quantity of x plus 1 is equal to 107. Well, order of operation tells us we must do this first. So 3x plus 2x, we know we do the distributive property. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 2 is equal to 107. Well, I'm going to put my x's together, and we get 5x plus 2 is equal to 107. I'm going to subtract 2, because we always add or subtract first, so 5x is equal to 105. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to divide by 5. So x is equal to 105 divided by 5 is 21. That's our x. So when we're looking at this, we know our first integer is 21, and our second consecutive integer is just plus 1 is 22. So these are the two integers that we were looking for this problem. If this video was helpful to you today, please add a like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more Math with Marcia. See you again soon.